looked at yourself in the mirror and asked yourself, what the heck is going on? Why isn't this working? What is happening? These questions and others like them will tear your enthusiasm down. They will slow your momentum faster than you can say the word momentum. I know this because I've asked myself some version of these questions for the past few years, almost every year at the end of the year. So I can definitely relate to you. I've suffered from these feelings ever since maybe middle school, and what's happened is they've morphed into feelings of imposter syndrome and limiting beliefs as I've grown older. But the good news is we are, if you're like me, are in good company, because 71% of CEOs in the United States say they too have imposter syndrome and limiting beliefs. Listen, I've worked extremely hard to overcome these negative mindsets, and I still have my days. I've also helped my clients do the same thing to overcome that negative mindset as well. So in this video, I am going to share with you how to use awareness, application, and analysis to reset your mind for success. Let's get into it. So before we get started, leave a comment below and tell me if you too have felt this negative self-talk, this imposter syndrome, these limiting beliefs. And if you have any suggestions on how we collectively can overcome these feelings, we want to hear from you, because this is a community and we want to know that we're not alone. All of us likes that feeling, right? Of knowing that we're not alone, that we're not the first person or the only person to have ever gone through something. So let's talk about it down in the comments below. All right, let's get into these phases. Phase number one is the awareness phase. And in this phase, the first thing that we have to do is acknowledge. We have to acknowledge that we have these challenges. We have to acknowledge the origin of them, determining the origin, and then actually acknowledging how we got to a point where we have these negative feelings about ourselves, or that our mindset is in this negative space. Because in order to address it and fix it, we have to identify where it came from. And then beyond that, we have to look at those triggers, identifying the thing that brings up the negative thought in the first place. So first we identify where it came from, and then we have to identify the triggers that bring it up in us. Because in order for us to create what I call circumstances for optimal success, we have to know where those landmines are in our life, and we have to create measures, circumstances for optimal success, to sidestep the landmines, or if they happen, to clean ourselves up and get ourselves back together in a timely fashion so that we can move forward. So in this awareness stage, we're determining the origin, and we are becoming aware of it, and we are acknowledging the triggers that could potentially happen. Then we have to figure out how to modify the triggers. How do we soften the blow when they happen? What could that potentially look like for us having a game plan to offset the negativity or the trigger that happens? Okay, so first thing we have to do, the first phase, is to be aware. Acknowledge, understand where these thoughts are coming from, who gave them to us. Inside my program, Project CEO, we go deep dive into this subject matter, because I just truly believe that we cannot really be a good leader of ourselves until we understand some of the obstacles that could prevent us from being a good leader in the first place. Some of the things that are maybe our kryptonite, like Superman, that are going to be a detriment to our attempts. We have to know these things, and so we have to be aware of them. We can't run away from them. We have to acknowledge them, and then we have to determine the triggers that will send us in a spiral. Once we identify those triggers, we need to have a game plan to modify them when they happen. How can we minimize the blow? So under identifying or developing modifiers for your triggers, I want you to find a way that maybe you can excuse yourself from a conversation. That's one way. Maybe if a certain location is a trigger for you, how do you avoid that location? This is all a part of creating circumstances for optimal success and what that looks like in modifying some of these triggers. Another thing is have a contingency plan, okay? If something then pops off, it doesn't go the way you need it to go, how can you course correct and have a contingency? If A doesn't work, I have a plan B. What is going to be your plan B? This is, again, all a part of creating those circumstances for optimal success. And then also, you have to use your words. When things are not really what they need to be for you, or if you find that you are being triggered in some way, use your words.
tell someone. Obviously, you want to be as professional as possible, but you also want to be as clear and concise as possible so that whomever you're speaking to understands that whatever is going on around you is a trigger for you and you have to do something about it. You've recognized it and you just cannot operate at your best when these things are happening. So how do you know if a trigger is just something that is annoying you versus a trigger that is actually hindering your ability to course correct your mindset? If you find that you are constantly being distracted, if you find that your time and energy is being sucked and you're unable to be as productive as you want to be, you may have encountered some triggers that you've not managed or, mitigated. A lot of times this manifests itself with me with frustration and aggravation, irritation, when I find that I feel like I am drowning or underwater, overwhelmed. Oftentimes it is the result of a mind block. I was unable to say no when I should have. I've pushed myself too far for whatever reason. I've put too much on my plate trying to serve someone else and not really serving myself or practicing self-care. Somewhere along the lines, a trigger has reared its ugly head and I've not identified it or dealt with it. That is a telltale way that your triggers are hindering your mindset and they're preventing you from being your best possible self. I find that a lot of times it's happened when I'm not saying no when I should say no. So anyway, if you find some of these things are happening in your life and you're constantly frustrated or you feel overwhelmed or you're irritated and you're stressed out, it's a good telltale sign that you are not really handling those triggers the best way you possibly can. You're not identifying them, mitigating them, modifying or course correcting when you need to. Again, my program Project CEO goes into a lot more depth with this, and there are so many exercises that really help you get a hold of where these negative thoughts are coming from, who gave them to you, why, how they've sort of rooted themselves in your ability to lead yourself, lead others, etc. So I highly recommend getting on the wait list for that program. We're going to be opening it up soon. So, obviously all the things. Be on the lookout. I'm going to do a webinar as well. So be on the lookout for that link. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you have your notification bells on, and make sure you always read the description box because a lot of links are going to be down there as well. Hey sis, for so many of us, having a business has been one of the greatest joys of our lives. It's like a baby. We birthed it. It became a part of us. But you get to a point where you're ready to work on your business and not in it. Just like when our children grow up and they are ready to fly the nest, you too become a business owner who wants to work on your business and not so much in your business. Well, in order for that to happen, you have to understand 3 things: how to lead others, how to create circumstances for optimal success within your business, and then how to create those duplicable systems and processes that create a positive experience for your workforce as well as a positive customer experience. Now, inside my program, Project CEO, this is not a program that's going to get you immediate sales. I want to manage your expectations. This program is designed to help you become the best version of you. It is going to help you become a leader, a CEO of you, so that you can transfer those skills, that knowledge, into scaling your business and growing the way you want to grow. It is going to help you build confidence. It is going to help you understand how to communicate with people in an efficient and effective way. And it's also going to help you with those 3 areas that sometimes are the biggest struggles for business owners: customer acquisition, customer maintenance, and customer retention. So if you are ready to take your business to the next level, if you are ready to take yourself to the next level so that you can start working on your business instead of in your business, Project CEO is what you need to do. Use the link that I'm providing for you in the description below to get yourself on the wait list for this program. We're going to be opening it soon, and you're going to want to be on the wait list to take advantage of all the benefits that I'm going to share with you. I've got so many good things in the works that you're going to want to be on the list so that you can get them. All right, that is all I have. Go back to watching the video. Thank you so much for taking the time to hear about my program, Project CEO, and I'll see you on the other side, inside that wait list. All right, bye. The next phase is application. Phase number 2 in our quest to reset our mind for success. Okay, when it comes to application, right? The resetting of your mind. Here's where you want to use that personal framework that I talk about so often here on this channel. Again, Project CEO is like the mecca for that methodology, where I'm sharing how to apply that in a lot of instances within that program. But really, your personal framework is how you're going to create those circumstances for optimal success that I talked about in the awareness phase of creating the right mindset, resetting your mindset for success. Your personal framework is so important to just your overall ability to lead yourself, and it also is going to help you teach people how to treat you, manage expectations, and set the appropriate boundaries. So I highly recommend understanding your personal framework and how do you work or look through, operate through the lens of that personal framework. It's how you're going to use what you know about yourself to confidently navigate some of these negative mindsets that you have, that you're going to have to train yourself. It's like a muscle. You've got to exercise the muscle repeatedly. Your personal framework is how you do that, because it is the way you're looking at things that is going to really calibrate the degree of your personality, the energy that you put towards something in order for you to be successful at whatever that something is. It's going to help you interact with other people more seamlessly. It's going to help you minimize the anxiety and frustrations, because again, personal framework is you really firing on all cylinders, being the best possible version of yourself. And so you will be able to continue to stay motivated because you're operating within your wheelhouse. You'll be able to communicate more effectively and efficiently because you'll know exactly sort of the lane you need to be in, and you'll be confident in that lane. So again, you're going to be able to interact with other people. You're going to be able to minimize the stress and overwhelm that happens when you don't have that confidence. And the time and energy that you put towards things will be maximized. You'll get the most out of your time. You'll get the most out of your energy. You'll get the most out of the effort you put towards something because you're operating at your best. So in this application phase, you definitely want to use your personal framework here to get this level of benefit. Okay. Next, under application, is you want to identify with confidence your unique value proposition. What makes you special? Why should anyone listen to you? What is your unique perspective on something that is going to draw your credibility to the forefront, that's going to showcase the value that you're bringing to the table? I've said this so many times here on this channel, but you are the sum of your influence, experience, perspective, and passion. You are as unique as a snowflake. You are as unique as a fingerprint. No one can do it from the same perspective as you, because your perspective is different. Your combination of those four things is different. And so I need to give that a name, actually, because I mean, it's true. I say it all the time. You are as unique as a snowflake. So your unique value proposition is how you're going to walk throughout whatever it is you have going on. And this mindset is going to help you do that. It's going to help you reset your mindset. When you understand your unique value proposition, you will be able to think more confidently in the things that you do, how you do them, where you do them, who you're doing them for. Things just become a lot clearer. The waters are less muddied, and you can operate within your wheelhouse with confidence. So my suggestion is to get into the fact that you are that unique. There's no competition ever, because who has the same combination of those things as you? Nobody. Okay. So again, definitely a mindset thing. But I think as you begin to reset your mindset, this is sort of how you want to begin to think, because that negative self-talk, those limiting beliefs, they are real. And unless you get a handle on it, I'm not saying that you're never going to have these feelings again, but when you do have them, you have a way to course correct, because you remember, oh, wait, I'm unique. Wait. I have a personal framework that I can look through. Am I operating through that? You have a way to course correct and bring yourself back to balance. And then lastly, under the application piece, is to practice a growth mindset versus a scarcity mindset. I know we're talking about resetting for a mindset for success, and I think you really do have to take into account here that as a leader of yourself, understanding that you have triggers and being able to identify them so that you can mitigate them, understanding how to create circumstances for optimal success because you've done the work and created your personal framework, is going to help you see that value, but also it is going to help you stay focused on the prize. And when you start thinking about what is like having little or not having enough, you can remind yourself that you have what you need to get more. So there is no need to have scarcity, but there is a mindset of growth. How can I be better? How can I do better? How can I bring more of my value to the forefront? So practice a mindset of growth versus a mindset of scarcity. Don't act like there are only two possibilities, black and white. Remember that with a growth mindset, there are so many shades of gray that you can tap into. You just have to have an open enough mind to get out there and shade in the gray, right? So you may be asking yourself or saying to yourself,
Andrea, I've heard all this before. I've tried these things before.
and it doesn't work.
It has never worked for me.
Well, what I'll say to you is our brains are complex. The reticular activating system acts like a cheerleader, but it's also that area of the brain that is responsible for that fight or flight response. So where in some instances it's cheering you on, it's encouraging you, you feel really good about things. If it is triggered from, let's say, an influence that is a negative influence on you that told you something that was not true about yourself that you still believe, you are going to have a fight or flight response that is going to send you down a rabbit hole in the wrong direction. Okay, so you have to know that there's a physical reaction with these triggers as well that could be hindering you from achieving the mindset that you want to achieve. So you're going to have to practice these things and exercise these activities like a muscle in order to help them be stronger. Your brain has a tendency to play that negative tape, which is why inside Project CEO we do a great deal of work to help you just take the tape out altogether and start recording a new tape for yourself. So I highly recommend getting on the wait list. The link will be in the description box below. But that reticular activating system is like a double-edged sword, which is why I believe creating your personal framework is going to be so helpful in helping you to change that tape. Now let's get into this final phase, which is the analysis phase. In the analysis phase, this is where I want you to practice grace. Practice and give yourself grace. Like I said, it is a muscle that has to be exercised just like every other muscle. Sometimes it hurts after the exercise and it takes you a little while to work out the kinks. But the overall goal is to feel better, look better. And the same is true here with your mindset and resetting your mindset for success. There are going to be bumps in the road. There are going to be days where it doesn't feel good and you don't want to do it. But that is when you analyze yourself, analyze your actions, and give yourself some grace. Remember, the idea is to avoid, once you've identified and recognized, acknowledged your triggers and that negative self-talk that is the result of those triggers. So you want to avoid those or mitigate them as much as possible. Give yourself grace. You're not going to get it right every single time. The truth of the matter is you may have to fake it until you make it. You may have to pretend, or I won't say pretend, I don't want that word. But you've heard me talk about manage the volume of your personality. It's not pretending, it's not changing who you are, but it really is sort of operating in an uncomfortable space potentially to get through the moment, to get through whatever it is that needs to get done. And you can tell yourself a myriad of things to help you through it, but the truth of the matter is once you've identified your personal framework, at least you'll have a place to draw that strength from. Also, when you're doing the analysis and you're giving yourself grace, remember that you are unique as a snowflake. And even though things look bleak at times, if you look at it through this lens of your personal framework and you look at it through the lens of grace and really just trying to do better, you will acknowledge the fact that, okay, I am bigger than this, I am stronger than this, I am bringing a lot to the table because I have a unique perspective, I have unique influence, unique experience. The combination of those three plus my passion makes me the perfect person, or nobody really has what I have. I am unique. There is no competition. So when you find that negative self-talk is creeping in, the imposter syndrome is happening, you are having limiting beliefs, remind yourself that you are resetting your mindset for success and you're operating through your personal framework. You are creating circumstances for optimal success, and you are remembering that you have a value that no one else can touch because it's yours and yours alone. In order for you to get better, you really do have to look at where you are, where you want to be, and create some measurable element to determine how far you have come. Give yourself rewards for making it there, and give yourself rewards to making it the rest of the way. I recognize that what I just talked to you about sounds so much easier than it actually is to accomplish. And that's why I encourage you to watch this next video. In it, I do a deep dive into manifestation and why mastering your mindset is crucial for success. If you want to reprogram your mindset for success, the first step is mastering you. Before you head out to watch that video though, if you like what you heard here, please be sure to subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode, and for sure go ahead and get on the wait list for Project CEO, so when those doors open, you are the first or one of the first in line. There will be a lot of extras that I give away this go round because I'm working on a lot of things, and so I want to make sure that those who are loyal to me get the first access. So make sure that you get on that list, and if you are so inclined, give this video a big thumbs up so that Google knows that you liked it, and share it with someone that you think might need it, someone else who might be in the process of resetting their mindset for success. All right guys, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you next week. Bye.